Where better to start on the final day than with the showpiece of the week, the Gold Cup. It's a vintage renewal. I think it's a vintage renewal anyway. Album Photo, the returning champion, is in there 4-1 with the Tote. But Santini, for some reason or another, has the favourites tag.
Yeah, it does. But why?
Why is that? Does anybody know why?
I don't know. I can't. I listen. There's loads of chances. A fantastic race. I think Album Photo. I think he skated in last year. He did skate.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he did.
You're right.
He did.
Yeah.
And I don't see why.
On soft ground, he's rock solid.
I think he's rock solid. I think he's one of the. I think he's just a fantastic, very good horse.
The big negative for him is the record of horses coming back to win the race again. But
He didn't exactly get a grueler last year.
And he
No,
hasn't
that was quick and
proven
punch
prep,
them,
you know.
Oh yeah, against Ken Boy. And Ken Boy's a very good horse on quick ground.
Yeah.
Willie's prep of him going to Tremor and straight on to the Gold Cup, I think that could be the winning of the race.
I'm telling you, it's brilliant.
It's just
brilliant to see him
fantastic,
go back
and
to
nobody would think of doing that.
But
with
you
their Gold
think
Cup
about
horse.
it, how tricky is Tremor of a track over fences? You know,
Yeah.
up, down, everywhere. Cheltenham's not a nice track. You know,
No.
it's not a good track.
No.
If
Things
it wasn't
happen so
Cheltenham
fast.
Festival, you wouldn't go there.
It's the most unbelievable place to walk. Like I never rode or anything like that, but to walk it,
It rides
it's
worse.
probably.
You're right.
With all due
That
respect,
fence
because
down the hill
they do it
is as
fantastic.
bad as it
Yeah.
It's
seems.
the worst I've ever walked as regards. It's like a gallop in Kilbeggan,
Yeah.
nearly. It's not just as up and down. It's this way and left and right. To go down the back and you'd see
The old track and the new track aren't even related.
Yeah.
No,
booby
not
traps.
one bit related. And like, same as me and yourself, I'd say you've rode a few that shouldn't be there, and that's a horrible place to be. Just riding a horse that can't.
And I suppose that's
Yeah.
the reason it's the one everybody wants to win, because it's that type of track that finds a kink.
Yeah.
If there's any kink
But
there,
I think
you will.
this Album Photo prep is perfect, and Tremor is perfect for it.
Yeah.
You're up and down.
And
like,
who solidified that? Henrietta Knight. And
There you go.
she was able to bring a horse back 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I really like him at 4-1. I think he's a great bet. Can't have Santini. Not sure about Delta Work. I have a big question mark on him hitting
I
the line.
really like Delta Work.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to hit the line.
God, he gallops through. I think
He'll be ridden to hit the line. I think he'll
He's
follow.
a good horse.
He didn't hit the line last year.
But
Didn't
he was
hit
in
the
front
line
of the
last
top of
year.
the hill last year.
Still.
Wasn't ideal, was it?
Still. It wasn't a Gold Cup trip.
He's 2 lengths off top of the game in Santini, like, and you know they feel things went wrong. For me, is the one I'm going with. I think he's very solid so far. I think Album Photo, you know, he's going to make a proper race of it. But Delta Works form so far, it's very good.
I'm sticking with Album Photo. But if Lost in Translation has had his wind operation and everything is fine, he's a horse that could put it up to them. He's a lovely jumper. He just needs to relax and get into a rhythm.
You'd have to say as well that Percy hasn't been beaten that far in his last run either. There's only one little bit of a bad jump between those Irish horses on the Gold Cup farm and on our Gold Cup farm.
Yeah.
So does that say that nobody's a champion? Is that harsh, maybe?
Well, I wouldn't say, it's probably harsh, but Album 4 wasn't in it, so...
I think Kenboy beats Delta Work if he jumps.
He could do. He's improved plenty from his run at Christmas to the Dublin Racing Festival, and you'd expect a little bit more to come from him again, but for the form he's showing, I think the price is right.
Yeah.
There's more to come, but
A lot have to go right for him. He has to meet
Yeah.
his fences right. And he's a hard ride.
he's tricky, but you know, start of the season he was the joint highest rated horse in training, wasn't he? Chaser.
Is he better on a flat track? Maybe.
Maybe you'd think that, but you know, Punchestown is not exactly a flat
No.
track.
But I'd just go back to saying Cheltenham's not a nice track.
Yeah.
You know, it's turning up,
Yeah.
down, fence here, fence
Left,
there.
right.
Look, Album Photo's got to be rock solid.
Yeah, Clandazoba not out of it either.
Yeah, I really fancied him last year, and I thought the first mile of the race he didn't have the class to hold his tactical pace. Pace he didn't have it.
Didn't find it easy.
Yeah, and it let him down. And when in the Gold Cup, when you get out of a position, out of a winnable position, you can't get it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen to Santini as well. When things happen in a Gold Cup, it might be 3 miles, but if a gap appears, you have to take it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the tactical pace to do that, I don't think.
I think he'll get outpaced at some stage, and then he's just playing catch up after then.
Do you think Presenting Percy will be dropped in as much as he was last year?
You might have to. I don't know. They're riding him closer this year to the pace in Ireland, and he's just not firing as well.
Yeah, but
he's not bad.
He's only been beaten 3 or 4 or 5 lengths, lads. That's very little improvement to come along.
Going to take
You know
an
what I mean?
exceptional ride for him to win it, I think.
Davy's sticking loyal.
Davy has given him exceptional rides at the festival before, but I'm still album photo.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're fairly
All adamant seem
mutual on that regard, yeah. So
We've
we'll
won
go.
at a wild price now. He's probably way too big a price. It's Bristol to my. I know he might be thinking I'm mad now. He's
Yeah,
been
man.
around the block a load of times.
You're
But he's-
mad.
So Santini wins if he's
not
going to be
him.
running well.
if he didn't make the mistake in
Yeah,
that trial
he-
2 out,
he
he
was-
would have near beat Santini.
Would he though?
I think he would have.
think
Yeah.
he
I
might
actually
have,
think he
yeah.
would have.
He was
That's
coming
why I
back at
can't
him.
understand why Santini's favourite.
Yeah, like the price difference between the two of them. He's going to run his race. Like he's probably not as classy or good enough to win it. But the Gold Cup, there's always one of these long price shots that gets his place, plugs on from the back, picks up the pieces.
Like the Annabelle Fly plugging away.
Yeah, he's just like
He's not sort of ridden that way though. He's not a horse that's ridden to pick up pieces.
No,
he's
but
ridden
he-
to try and win the race.
Potentially the
Do you know
pacemaker
what I
in
mean?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just can't
I'd
see it
agree.
happening.
I think
No.
he'd beat him the last time.
Yeah.
But I won't agree that he's.
But he didn't.
won't
still
win
a
it.
young-
I'd actually back Connolly before I'd back Bristol to Mai.
I think the
We'll have a-
reason he
we'll have a
probably
side
got
bet on
some
that. Side match bet on that.
was Bristol and I very fit from early in the season, where Santini always had the Gold Cup in his mind.
Yeah, maybe. Don't know. He's never flattered me, Santini, ever. You know, that sort of way. So
Yeah.
I was never a fan. Still not. Until he goes and wins it.
I think Santini is probably too short of a price,
72, yeah.
but I still wouldn't put him up at any more than 8 or 9 to 1.
Yeah. Look, I think he'd be the biggest danger to Tiger Roll in the Aintree Grand National if he ran it, but he's not
you
going
go.
to. So we're all on album photo. The Triumph Hurdle, we saw an impressive performance from Solo last week. Kind of blew it out of the water because All Mankind, Goshen and Aspire Tower were the main trio up until then. But it seems Paul Nicholls has unearthed a star from France.
Yeah, I'll let you go, Gary, with
Yeah,
the
look,
rating he's gotten.
He's putting at 157. It was a serious performance. He beat a really good horse, Fuji Moto Flyer. There was not a lot
Is
you
she
could
a really
knock.
good horse?
Ah, she is.
She won in Clarny.
She won in Killarney.
She won
She's
21
done a lot wrong.
lengths hard held.
With you on board.
Well, I can't argue with that, but she went back to Auteuil and she bolted up again 2 weeks later. The French horse that was second that day came out, Frank de Form, well in France, and you know she's solid. The only thing about Fujimoto in Kempton the other day, she'd had quite a layoff, and I think maybe she's going to improve. Where Solo's got this rating that's through the roof.
But it's his first run for Paul Nicholls as well.
Yeah.
I think they got a little bit carried away with it.
I'd agree. Yeah. It's,
He looks very good, but they're giving him this rating that all he had to do was win this and go back and turn up in the champion hurdle next year. I think that's a little bit premature.
it was a rating to get the headlines. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's.
Paul Nicholls
probably-
is giving him the headlines, comparing him to Masterminded.
Paul Nicholls loved the headlines.
I think it's very generous. I think Goshen, All Mankind, Aspire Tower, they have battle hardened credentials. Gosh in particular is my fancy here for Gary Moore. I think he's rock solid. He doesn't
Jumping.
have to make it now. You going to question his jumping?
Yeah.
I
Was
didn't
he in
particularly worry about
Ascot?
it.
Was he jumping a good bit off to his right?
The first day
Yeah.
he won, he went badly right. didn't
He'll
he?
end up in the Guinness tent. Like you
Really?
couldn't be trusting him.
Don't be in the Guinness tent because he won't stop running.
Yeah.
Triumph is run on the new track, so you know, is there in the last 7 furlongs of the new course only two hurdles?
Yeah, on
Which,
top of the hill.
you know, the jumping is done mainly down the back straight,
A
but
lot of them come stand side anyway for the home.
yeah, but still,
He doesn't have to make it, that's all I'm saying. All
Yeah.
Mankind has to do it.
Yeah.
Aspire Tower, I think, can follow. He definitely doesn't have to make it either. Just
He's very similar. There's similar sort of horses, aren't there? Aspire Tower and Goshen.
keen but controllable.
Keen and to get their breather, but they hit the line. They
Strong.
stay going, yeah.
Still, it's a fair call from Paul Nichols to come out and compare this fella to Mastermind.
He's a lot of horses, he doesn't have
There's
to
a lot
do
of
that.
horses and he doesn't have to do it right. And I just think that on the basis of, our ones have been beating each other.
It'd be a race that I'd stay away from, to be honest.
Normally
it's
people
hard.
do.
But this is a better renewal than your
It
typical
is.
Triumph.
It is a good renewal of it, and I'm not too sure what the Irish
Do you think that Fuji Mother will run
juveniles
in that?
are.
Do you think that
I
she
agree.
run in that?
I don't think you could see her run it, for the simple reason is it'd be very difficult to see her reverse the form with Solo. So why would you go for a race?
Off the mark that she got, and he's 157. She got a mark of
She-
1-3.
She could
138,
do. She could do well in a
138.
Fred Winter.
She looks on the mark. Well, we've kind of mentioned her for the Mayor's Novice, but on the mark she's got the Fred Winter looks the race.
Wherever
that
she goes, she's got a
she's
squeak.
got a squeak. But
I think the Triumph's an English
An English race.
Yeah,
on the board.
So Goshen for me. Solo, anybody?
I'll go Solo.
I'll go Solo, yeah.
that'll be different. I'll go all
Paddy
Mankind.
go to the Guinness tent.
I'll go to Guinness and watch Goshen. I'll go Aspire Tower just for the each way play.
Okay, well, the Albert Bartlett was won by a 50-1 shot last year called the Manila Indo. Latest exhibition isn't going to be 50-1, Paul.
No, and we were delighted to be able to hold on to him, Jane, and it's thanks to a couple of owners in the yard that they were able to sort of come to an amalgamation together and buy him. And so Jim, the original owner, holds onto a leg of him, and sort of, I won't say the pressure is off or anything, but it was from the Windy Grade 1 and his first run for them was great. So no matter what, you'd be waiting for him to go over the fence as well, but whatever he can do now.
He seems like the ideal horse for a big hectic festival because he's very laid back.
Yeah.
He answers every call. He's just got a very likeable attitude. I know when he won at Navan, people were saying, "Oh, Andy Dufresne didn't run his race," but it was actually your horse ran a better race than people were expecting.
Yeah, well, I think when you consider the mistake that he made in Navan and still won, he made a mistake that I thought he was going to pull up, leaving the back. I actually thought he was going to pull up. And
An ordinary horse would have pulled up.
I think they would. And it's just, he's touch wood, he seems uncomplicated. And the one thing I would be worried about, the undulations in it. Now, he won his maiden hurdle in Galway and he handled coming down the hill and all like that. And Rachel came back and said he was green, which he was, because he hadn't been point to point. And then he was a fragile enough youngster because he was a big shell of a horse. And we didn't send him to Cheltenham because he was sore enough after winning his bumper here. The ground was good enough. And he was just sore of his old shoulders and stuff like that. So we decided to give that a break. And we let him out for a good long summer, and he came back in and he was, touch wood, he's been fine. But I think that the further he goes will be an asset to him. Brian thought he was beat leaving the back in Leopardstown, and he needed a jump at the second last, which he got. And that put him right, and then he knew from then on that he was going to win. From after jumping the second last, he knew he was always going to get there. And if you look at the race, you could see that the way even Gordon's horse, the favourite, were queuing up behind him a little bit. But then as it turned around the bend, you knew that he was... And that's the only thing, he's a good big striding horse, and you're just hoping to God that he'll handle Cheltenham. And that's the whole thing. But I'm happy enough the way he came out of Leopardstown.
Do you think he's improved?
I think he has. He just looks to be, he's not as raw looking. He's less raw every day that goes by. Doesn't need a savage amount of work. So there's no need for us really to go anywhere. I'm happy enough where he is at the moment, as long as things go right from where the road, the power harrow goes long and forth from every step he takes. So, and I walk up to Gallop every because there's a stone on it.
Yeah, you need a horse like that in the yard to get you off your ass to pick the stones.
You do, and that's the way it is, and
He's 7-1, Paul. Honestly, and no offense to you, but I think if he was with a Gordon or a Willie, he'd be half that, and that's an insult to you because you've had Cheltenham winners, you've had Grade 1 winners, you've had good horses, and you've always said this horse was good.
Yeah,
Even
but
in Nace, you said this horse was
Yeah,
good.
but I'd never mind. I just take insults very well. I don't mind insults, but you know, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he thinks that Time Hill is the best novice in England.
He is the best novice in England, but
And
is
it's
he
the
good
devil that
enough?
he runs in this. He runs in this, I think, does he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah,
Richard
and that's,
Johnson is
so there you go. So
talking about it.
you know, that's
How good is Monkfish then?
Monkfish was very good in Thurles the last day. We went a proper gallop. I was upsides in front with a Gigginstown horse and finished third on Vitalwa for Willie. And Monkfish, you know, sat behind us, picked up well. You know, they said the time was very good in the day. We went a proper gallop all the way, and he picked up and won nicely. But the horse Charles Burns's was second on the day, Alpine Cobra, I think it was. And really, to beat the two of those, the form itself isn't good enough to be the price he is. He's that short. If you go through Monkfish's form, it wouldn't compare with Time Hill's form and latest exhibition's form for me. I think like latest exhibition, you know, he's runs with Andy Dufresne. Was he second to Abracadabras one
second
day
over
for
two
you?
miles, yeah.
You know, that's solid. Or Time Hill, you know, he beat Fiddler on the Roof earlier in the season.
It's a champion bumper form. People are probably taking him literally on the second day.
Yeah.
and you have to. Your man Sempo at 20-1 at Joseph O'Brien's. He was 5th or 6th in the champion bumper, not beaten that far, 5 or 6 lengths. Yeah. He was second to
I could see him in the
Cobbler's
handicap.
Way. Another
Yeah.
couple of strides he was up. And he won easy the last day. Now he jumps a bit deliberate and all. He just is a bit.
Did he win a maiden in Thurles
He
the
did.
last
He
day?
sluiced it. Yeah.
He, you know, he's a solid horse, but I think the likes of latest exhibition and Time Hill for me are the ones with proper form here. Monkfish is, you know, he's owned by Rich Ritchie, trained by Willie. I think that has him at the head of the market more so than the real solid form. Going down through the race, 5 o'clock at 20-1 in this type of race. I'm not sure if he's going yet. That's up in the air a little bit, but I think he could be an each way play in the race. To me, Monkfish, he's solid, but his price is too short. I'd either be flipping a coin between Time Hill and latest exhibition. Paul's beside us and he's an Irish horse. We'll have to go for latest exhibition.
Is there a horse
here.
in Knowles, lads, that won very well in the maiden hurdle and he hasn't been seen since? That Dial Kerr.
That's him, yeah.
He's a Marteline horse of Knowles.
He qualified for the Martin Pipe as well, I think. So it'll be interesting to see which ones go where.
A1 is 33-1 here. This is a race that can throw up a massive price winner. He was very good at Gorn and he was followed it up quite well.
Yeah, his Gorn race was probably a weak enough race and won very well. The performance here beat a horse of Emmett Mullins as Russian Diamond around Nace the last day. I thought that was a nice step up. He could be one, I'm not sure, 33-1 if he runs here, it's a value bet, but he's another one that could be for the Martin Pipe as well, I think.
It's definitely a good renewal of the race compared to other years.
You're going to say that anyway.
I prefer if it was one of the
weaker ones.
Yeah, I just think that if you're, I prefer if it was a bit weaker.
Probably has the most strength and depth of all the novice.
Yes,
novice
even there's a Ramsey Stateles there of David Pipes. He won a Grade 2 the last time after coming back off a high mark. Was he second or third favourite for the Aintree National?
He was second in
Correct.
the Welsh
He's
National
Harden's
last year.
horse.
He's a Harden's horse coming back over hurdles.
Harry Senior is course form as well for the Tizzards. He's their Albert Bartlett horse. We were talking about them splitting up their novices.
Yeah.
He's good
the
tough
set
horse as
for
well.
that, yeah.
I wouldn't leave out Longhouse Pole as well. I think step up and triple suit him.
Is he going to go for the Ballymore?
I think he is going for the
he going
Ballymore. I
Ballymore,
think
is he?
he is, yeah.
This is a tough race, but Paul, I am with you. I hope you.
I'm going to
You'd
stay
have
over.
quite the celebration anyway, because as you say, a group of your owners
that's
got
it.
together. And
I think the main reason for going with Paul's Red is what Brian said to you about the Navan race. He thought he was bet leaving the back. He put down the head and he galloped like that 3 mile novice race. This is going to be a proper slog. and your lad showed a bit of class in Leopardstown, but he slogged in Navan, and that's what'll stand to him here.
You'd love to see this horse. It's very seldom if you're not travelling coming down the hill, regardless of what the trip. If you have to push coming down it, you're not going to get up it.
Well, I'd have to say, if the fact you said he's improved off his Leopardstown run, and the fact, I think he's a classy animal. I think he'll probably jog around here easy, that sort of way. And I'd say once he does hit the hill, I'd say he is good enough. I'd have him before Monkfish. I'm not sure on Tyne Hill. He's entitled to be up there. If Paul's horse improves another bit off Leopardstown, and to me, he's that type of horse that suits Cheltenham. He'd probably just take in the buzz and enjoy it. If he does that and he's going easy coming down the hill, he's going to be very hard to beat. Hopefully.
A good one. The last race we might mention is Fox Hunters. I think, again, the Irish like to get carried away with our pointers over here. Billaway was very good here at Naas under Patrick. Stocker Wallace for Enda Bulger is a moving horse in the market, but Hazel Hill, bar getting beaten the last day when he was having a rear appearance, he's rock solid. It's not a race we like to get too deep in because riders do have a big impact on this and we don't know who is riding what. But Hazel Hill is deservedly favoured for this. Is there any race that we didn't, or any horse that we didn't mention that anybody wants to mention before we wrap up?
Just the Grand Annual, Grenadine, I think. He's a nice horse, Paul Nicholls' horse. He's well found in the market for the Grand Annual. But he looks an exciting horse. His handicap mark is he wouldn't be out of place lining up in an Arkle, and he's gone here. So I'd probably take the hint if he rocks up here. The mark is too good for him to give up this, I think, and he's definitely an interest.
I think in the county hurdle for me, Ciel de Neige, he was probably unlucky in Leopardstown, or in Newbury last day in the good handicap there.
Hurdle, yeah.
The Betfair hurdle, and the winner came opposite side of the track. Cheltenham, little bit stiffer finish. I think he could be potentially well handicapped for the county. Now, who knows what's going to turn up, but it's too early probably to get into that race. But I think he's one with solid handicap form for that.
Just in that county, Aramon looks like he's been laid out for it now. Would you have how he's been going?
He's been going well. I rode him in Leopardstown in one of those 2 mile champion races. It could have been at Christmas. And he was found out there. Back to the handicap probably looks the place for him. Say he's ending up there rather than being laid out for there.
I think there's I don't know with what she was weighted now. I know that Colin Murphy was hoping she'd get an extra couple of pounds to get into it.
She got 5 more. I think.
She got 5 more. A champion bumper winner to come into a handicap off of
137.
Yeah.
And she jumped well the last day.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Did she wear blinkers the last day? No.
You'd have to
She
say
might.
you'd have to think she'd have an each way chance.
You would absolutely, yeah. So that's ideal, guys. We've picked out every winner of every race at the Cheltenham Festival this year.
I think my bet of the week is going to be one everybody's going to hate. Cross-country race, Easyland.
There you go.
There you go. Well, it's unoriginal.
Yeah. It's 3-1, I think.
3-1, I think he's solid. Tiger Roll, just the preparation would have me against him. Love to see him win, be great for Keith, but I think Easyland could be very good.
Yeah, I think supplement Benny for the champion. She'll win that, and it'll be original. So whatever she runs in, she wins.
That's not going to happen.
I'm going to go album photo in the Gold Cup.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm going to put up front view in the Martin Pipe.
Always good
Boom!
for these.
JP McManus, handicap.
I think he chased you home the other day. Probably wasn't overly busy. He probably booked Oakley Brown on it. Connections won it last year. Serious bumper horse, bumper form. I really like him, and he'll be a right bet. Pay for the points in the last day.
There you go. That's a good one.
That's all.
And there we have it.